First, I'd like to congratulate you on your Rock Walk induction.
Well, thank
today.
you. Thank you.
And how do you feel about that? How do you feel about being inducted into the Hollywood Rock Walk?
Well, it's kind of an old-time honor because this is one of the stores that we used to come to all the time early on, way back. And it represents part of the effect that we were trying to produce. I mean, this helped us with what we were doing. You know, we help them, they help us. So it's part of an era, and I'm sure it's part of the kids' era now, too. So it's good to have this continue. You know, it's one of the old standbys. And I like putting my fingers or my whatever in cement, being with the rest of, most of them are from my era. Now, whether or not they have enough cement to keep continuing with Britney Spears, I don't know, you know. They'll just keep going right off on Sunset all from both directions. So I don't know what they'll do about that, but it's...
So it's almost like you've come full circle.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, I was reading quite a bit about you, and I read that you have no formal musical training.
No, I'm too lazy for formal music or art training. I generally do whatever it's relatively easy for me to do because I'm lazy. Like somebody asked if I'd go into the music business now. You got to work out, have good abs, change your clothes 5 times a day to get on a stage. It's just this massive amount of work, and it's more work than music. So
So how did you develop your vocal style then? Did you were you trying to emulate somebody that influenced you?
No, because there was nobody doing it. In other words, Tina Turner and Janis Joplin were singing rhythm and blues. And as much as I love rhythm and blues, I don't like white people trying to imitate handshakes and outfits and try to be cool. Like they're as cool as black people are, which is very popular now to try and imitate black people. And I think that's makes you look silly. Be yourself, okay? White people aren't in right now, that's tough. You know, to be yourself anyway. So I didn't sing in a black form. I sing where I come from. I'm fairly well-educated white guy, and I'm familiar with classical music and Spanish music. So I write and sing from that.
So what were your main influences when you were getting started?
Both classical, Grieg, Beethoven, Fats Domino, Miles Davis. It's a mishmash, very American, I'll say that about it, but it's a mishmash of sounds. Like Miles Davis, there are no lyrics that go with that. So I would imitate with my voice, because it's very loud, either a horn or a guitar sound, because there was nobody to look to as far as women were concerned with hard rock at that time. That's how old I am. So I'd look to Mick Jagger for how you are on a rock and roll stage, and that is you own it. You don't own it, you're history. And as far as music goes, the instruments rather than other singers.
Now you are very well known for your songwriting. How did you approach a song when you were going to write a song?
Any which way it came in, every which way but loose. I can get an inspiration from something somebody said. There'll be 3 notes that I like the succession of, an ad on television even. I mean, you know, it just comes from all kinds of different, it can be a feeling that I understand needs to be in a minor key. You know, it comes from everywhere.
So it kind of bubbled out from inside of you, it seems.
Yeah, I also think, and this is possibly going to annoy a lot of people, that a God has a lot to do with it, because very often I do stuff and I don't know how I did it because I'm not trained for anything. So I very often look at it and go, I don't have any idea how I did that, either music or art or writing books or whatever else. I just do, this stuff comes out and I don't even feel like I'm doing it half the time.
It's called a gift.
Yeah, so it is a gift, and I think it's a gift from God, which is sort of a permeating energy, for lack of a better description.
I'm going to ask you a couple more questions about music, and then I want to talk about your art.
Sure.
Were you happy with the way the music evolved from the psychedelic? I have read your music being quoted as nerve-jarring, acid reggae, raga, blues, folk rock.
Well, it's American then, isn't it? I mean, this country is full of different cultures, different races, and it's like send me you're poor and you're starving and so forth, and we all came over from different countries. So unless you're brain dead or in a coma, you're going to understand and be influenced by a whole bunch of different aspects. So rock and roll probably, and jazz to an extent are very American in their sound and in their lyrics, if they have lyrics. So it comes from a number of different influences.
Are you happy with the way it's evolved from the 60s and 70s to the way the music is today?
Well, there's so many different, it's the same thing as saying, do you feel that food has evolved from the 60s? Now, in the 60s, there's certain kinds of food, and you're always going to have food, and you're always going to have music. You're always going to have good music, and you're always going to have some that you think is mediocre or sucks. I saw a band that's real popular, I won't name them because that's rude, and I thought, God, how did they get there? The guy has no singing voice, which for rock and roll is okay. Dylan doesn't sing either, but he writes great lyrics. And this guy had no presence on stage, and he wasn't very good looking at it. What's up with that? So I didn't like him. There are probably thousands of people who just would crawl to get to see this band. So it's all, subjective with arts. And some stuff I like, some I don't.